drivers. Today the slate is clean, but not for long. The ARCA REMAX Series next on Speed. It's a duel in the Pocono Mountains today. The ARCA REMAX Series getting ready to do battle in the Pennsylvania 200 right here in Long Pond, Pennsylvania. Hello, everyone. I'm Bob Dillner. Alongside of me, our Winston Cup veteran Ken Schrader and two-time ARCA REMAX Series champion Bill Venturini. But let's get right to the chase. Doubleheader here this weekend. These guys were thrashing, raced yesterday. What do you think about the race today?
Well, it's going to be a challenge for all of them. Usually, you got a week in between races to get your cars ready. Here, they got less than 24 hours, and because of the results of yesterday's races and what happened, some of their plans went out the window, right, Bill?
Well, yeah, you know, I mentioned yesterday the top 3 in points had 3 different strategies. Throw that out the window, like you said. You know, Kimmel's going to the back. He's got to change. Billy Venturini, he broke a motor, finished the race, but still broke a motor. He had to do an engine change. So, yeah, definitely different strategies from what they had planned on. So we're going to see a very interesting race today.
I thought you were the pro here.
Yeah.
Well, this racing business will change every now and then, you know, change from lap to lap.
How about Don Radebach? What do you know?
Well, I know this. In 4 previous ARCA REMAX Series starts, Kyle Busch is batting .500 with 2 victories at Nashville and Kentucky. He's off to a great start here at Pocono on the pole with a brand new track record. However, Kyle Busch, you're not the only Winston Cup entry in the show today. In terms of winning this thing, how confident are you can get there?
Well, I think we should be pretty good for today's race. We got a great shot here in a Ditech.com Chevrolet fielded by Hendrick Motorsports. And, you know, we're just looking to come out here and gain some experience for this track for when we come back here in the Winston Cup Series. But here we go for a good run today.
Well, interestingly enough, Kyle Busch on the pole at better than 170 miles per hour. That pole speed out-qualified Ryan Newman's pole speed for the Winston Cup show tomorrow.
And, guys, he was up in the booth with us yesterday, and he really showed some talent up here. We're looking for him today.
A lot of fun, but he's going to make it exciting today, both him and Casey Mears. Now, you got to remember, this is going to be a different race today.
That's right. Let's take a look at the points because they were shaken up just a tad yesterday. Of course, Frank Kimmel is still way out ahead, but a good battle, Bill, from 2nd through 5th.
Yeah, you can see Jason Jarrett still holding 2nd. Billy dropped from 3rd to 4th. Brent Sherman still running 5th.
Bringing up 130 points there from 2nd to 5th.
2nd to 5th. Right,
close battle.
That's quite a war, I would say. Bill Eversole rounds out the top 10. You can see Christy Passmore just ahead of him, but Don Radebach, we'll go down to you now.
All right, let's do that. You know, when the Winston Cup drivers come to the Busch Series, they call them bushwhackers. When they come to the ARCA REMAX Series, we call them the ARCA agitators. And Frank Kimmel, there are 4 agitators in front of you. However, you're the fastest of the ARCA regulars, but 4 Winston Cup teams ahead of you. Can you outrun them?
I don't know about outrunning them, Don. These kids are awful good, got great race cars, and they're doing a good job behind the wheel. But the Advanced Auto Parts 14, we just got to go out and run our ARCA race and not try to put blinders on and not worry about what they're doing. So we'll just have to see how things pan out for the whole race.
Well, he's pretty good at running his ARCA race. He's a 4-time REMAX Series champion and 47-time winner.
Frank told me yesterday he is concerned about those ARCA agitators, and one of those guys actually won yesterday's race here at Pocono Raceway. Casey Mears just absolutely dominated the race. That is right there, Casey Mears in the Target Dodge, and he led a heap load of laps out here. Jason Jarrett, trouble early, Bill.
Yeah, 2nd place guy broke his motor early in the race. That's what gave him a hit in points, but he's still holding 2nd.
They had to take that car behind the wall, but Frank Kimmel, he wasn't coming late in the race. Boom! Billy Venturini into the wall there. He still wound up with a top 10 run. There goes Kimmel into 2nd past Mark Gibson, but he could not catch Casey Mears because that car was on a rail.
Casey Mears, I got to talk to him a little bit this morning, and he was on a cruise mode yesterday, and he understands that today's race is going to be a little bit different for him. And even yesterday's was one of those special races. You just don't have that opportunity very often.
And here's those words that we just can't wait to hear at the start of everybody's race. You can hear them. They have already cranked up. Didn't wait for us there.
I heard them say it when you were talking
you were
about waiting to hear them. But we can hear the motors running. That's the main thing. We're going to get to go racing.
That's right. The green flag is next here on Speed Channel at Pocono. Speed Channel's coverage of the ARCA REMAX Series is brought to you by REMAX. Outstanding agents, outstanding results. By Gladiator Garage Works, a division of Whirlpool Corporation. Gladiator Garage Works, it's time to rethink the garage. We are here at Pocono. The cars are on the racetrack. We are awaiting the green flag. Getting ready to get down to the nitty-gritty here for the doubleheader weekend for the ARCA REMAX Series. And let's get right to the REMAX starting grid. On the old Milwaukee pole, we've told you, Kyle Busch and the Ditech.com Chevrolet. Casey Mears won yesterday. He is on the outside. Row number 2, Christian Fittipaldi in the Cheerios Dodge, and David Rudiman in the Kodak Pontiac. Those top 4 guys, all with Winston Cup teams.
Inside row 3, Frank Kimmel in the Advanced Auto Parts Ford. Next to A.J. Henderson in the Fastenal Engineered Components Ford. Inside row 4, Brent Sherman, who had engine problems yesterday, ended up dropping out. On the inside, next to him, Jimmy Henderson.
Starting 9th will be Jason Jaron. Had some trouble out here yesterday in the Gladiator Garage Works Chevrolet. Shelby Howard on the outside of him. He was 5th yesterday. Mario Gosselin had some trouble yesterday, and Billy Venturini in 12th in that number 25 car.
Inside row 7, look who's back. Greg Sachs out of Florida, driving the fresh from Florida Seafood Dodge. Next to him, Christy Passmore out of Pryor, Oklahoma, in the Gaff Roofing Ford. Inside row 8, Ron Cox out of Soddy Daisy, Tennessee. Next to him, Mark Gibson out of Winder, Georgia, in the William Brothers Lumber Chevrolet.
Bobby Gerhardt is on his 3rd engine of the weekend. He was 7th yesterday. He'll start 17th today. And Henry Benfield on the outside of him. Andy Belmont had a very good top 5 run here yesterday in the Verizon car. He will start in 19th. Tom Erickson outside of him.
Inside row 11, out of Dallas, Texas, Ken Weaver in the 1-800 phone Pontiac. And next to him, Joe Cooksey out of Centralia, Illinois, in a Fuel Miser Chevrolet. Row 12, Charles Hudson out of Richmond, Virginia, in the Mountain Dew Livewire Chevy, and Bill Eversole in a Think Pink Chevrolet.
Eric Smith looking pretty good yesterday. A 6th place finish for him. 25th he will start today. Jerry Middleton, 26th, 27th, Todd Boucher in the GFS Marketplace Ford, and Jeff Caudell, 28th on the grid.
Inside row 15, Brian Codds in the Precision Cutter Chevrolet, and next to him, Mike Hagenbottom in the Blair.com Ford. Inside row 16, Carl McCormick in the Hilton Motorsports Ford. Next to him, Norm Benning out of Pittsburgh in the Benning Motorsports Chevrolet.
33rd will be Brian Kaltrider in the Nextel Ford. Chuck Spanky Weber outside of him. Mike Buckley, he's the top 15 in points. He'll start 35th, and Brack Maggard 36th.
Daryl Basham starting on the inside of row 19. He wrecked yesterday. He's got a backup car. And Brad Smith out of Michigan. Row 20, Greg Sarf out of Columbus, Ohio. And next to him, Alan Patterson and Jan Gibson Chevrolet.
And rounding out the field in the 41st spot, Bobby Boucher, who took a provisional to get into this field. All right, let's talk race strategy. Let's talk about how things differed from yesterday to today, Kenny.
Well, it's just, you know, the reason we have more Winston Cup entries in this race is because yesterday's was a makeup for the June race. When we came here this time and everyone knew they could run two races, more time on the racetrack, some of the Cup cars are elected to do some development, whether it be driver or engine, with the second ARCA race.
What's up, Don?
Well, I tell you what's up. We're going to really mix it up here. Lots of cars going to the back. Frank Kimmel for one, late for tech, and changed the motor. Brent Sherman changed an engine, which is why he's going to the back. Ron Cox, engine change. Bobby Gerhardt going to the back, engine change. Andy Belmont, engine change. Carl McCormick, late for tech. Daryl Basham, after the wreck yesterday, is in the backup car. He's going to the back. Casey Mears, an engine change. A.J. Hendrickson changed the motor. These doubleheaders are killers. Billy Venturini changed the motor. He's going to the back. Mike Hagenbottom, late to the drivers meeting, which is why he's going to the rears. Norm Benning, late to the drivers meeting, going to the back. And Brack Maggard, late for tech. All the teams and drivers going to the rear end of the field to help make things a little more interesting today for the Pennsylvania 200.
13 cars, I believe, to the back. So we're talking almost a third of the field.
And some really good ones, too. Let's take a look at some of the onboard cameras we have here. This is one of the guys that had to go to the back of the pack, of course, 4-time champ Frank Kimmel in the Advanced Auto Parts Ford. He will be way back there at the start of this one. And also the 1-800-4A phone Pontiac for Ken Weaver. He is starting 21st today. Those guys will be bringing us great pictures during this race here today. This race, again, like yesterday, 80 laps, 200 miles. Fuel strategy, we saw that play out a little bit yesterday, but also some good racing. Those Cup guys might put on a show here today.
Well, yesterday I made a comment that we felt the fuel window was about 40 laps. Throw that out the window. The most I think anyone can run is about 37. You know, we talk me being involved with Billy's team, we thought for sure we'd go 40, maybe 41. The guys told me after the race yesterday, we're pushing 36. That's it.
And let me tell you something, Schrader. After the race yesterday, I went down into that garage area, and this guy over here was sweating bullets. He's got the old shirt on, changing engines in that number 25 car.
Yeah, well, when you only work a couple times a month, you know, you don't get real used to it, so it's a stretch when you do.
Thanks, Ken.
Okay.
All right, let's put you guys on the spot real quick. Bill, first of all, who's your favorite?
Who's my favorite? Gotta go with Kyle Busch. Guy sets a new track record. He's been on fire since the day he got in Hendrick's equipment. He's got good equipment, got a good team. You know, money's got to be on the kid.
I'd have to go with Kyle Busch, just like Bill says. I think it's going to be interesting. And then once Casey gets up through the field, and with Rudeman and Fittipaldi, and then we get some late yellows, then it's going to get interesting.
Yeah,
it's going to be interesting from them coming through, but whole race is going to be interesting, especially just more competitive field again, even from yesterday.
And here we go. The emotion is high right now. Folks, hold on to your lug nuts. It's time to go ARCA Racing.
Okay, let's see if they do it again. Get across the start. There it is. There it is. The Pocono start. Phantom 4 and 5 wide down the front straightaway.
Not sure where you're going, but you're going to get out there.
Wow, look at those guys. Still 4 and 5 wide going into the first turn, but you know they got to get at least 2 abreast going into turn number 1.
Yeah, three can be a stretch, but you can't do like they do going down the straightaway. It's just a fun racetrack. Whoa, look at that.
Venturini on the outside just rockets past Kimmel.
Yeah, I was wondering, what was that? Okay.
You think that these cars aren't going fast? Look at those trees. When next time we see a back straightaway shot, when those cars go by, look what it does
to those trees. You're right.
Yeah. They'd be a waving and a wobbling. Greg Sachs, you saw him there in the number 88 car, of course, a former Winston Cup winner. This right here, the battle for third. You see Christian Fittipaldi in the 43 car, and David Rudeman, the Southern All-Star Series, excuse me, the South, they changed the name. It used to be the NASCAR All-Pro Series, and now it's the NASCAR Southeast Series. He's been a runner in that series for a long, long time. And of course, his dad, one of those old dirt modified drivers.
Oh, he is Buzzy. He's a hero up there. I mean, he's won more races than any 3 or 4 guys put together, basically, and he's just been tremendously successful over a long period of time. Got hurt a little bit this summer, but here he's bouncing back pretty good.
You see Eversol in the 08 fading back just a little bit. He had some trouble out here yesterday, but rebounded for an 11th place finish. But take a look at Kimmel trying to come through that field. I mean, he is just blowing past everybody as he is already up to 20.
Yeah, he's definitely coming through quick. We've got Casey, I think, was 18th on the last lap, so he's not wasting any time getting through there.
Kimmel on the inside of Hendrickson. Of course, Hendrickson had a great run out here yesterday, Bill, but had some problems.
He had some motor problems, too. Had to go and change go to a backup motor, but he was fast. He ran in the top 5 for a while.
Here comes Casey Mears. That right there, the battle for 11th. Casey's got it. And he's moving, too, maybe a little bit faster than Kimmel, as he showed yesterday.
Yeah, I think he passed, was it Ken Weaver he passed there to take over the 11th spot?
Ken Weaver, who has one of our onboard cameras here today, but that is the Target Dodge of Casey Mears, who is so dominant here. He also won at Michigan. This has been a real help to run these ARCA races for Casey, hasn't it?
We've seen it. I mean, he's running better every time that he gets in the ARCA car. He runs better in the following Winston Cup race.
We got a lot more to go. 3 laps complete already here at Pocono. Kyle Busch is your leader from the old Milwaukee pole. We'll have more in a moment. We're back here at Pocono, PA. Let's get right downstairs to Don Radebaugh.
Right with Frank Kimmel, right side tires already going on. The Advanced Auto Parts Ford going to work on the left side for left side tires. Frank says the car was too loose. They took some air pressure adjustments, stalled the car, got it going again. Frank thought he ran over some debris. That's why they came down and changed all 4 tires. Same situation is true for the 77 of Casey Mears. They thought they ran over some debris and changed all 4 tires. I asked how the handle was on that car. They said it was too soon to tell.
And that debris may have come from the number 63 car of Jimmy Henderson, who took an awful hard hit in turn number 1. Take me through it, guys.
You see, they got together right there with Jason Jarrett. Car sliding.
Typically, what we see here a lot of times, car gets a little bit sideways, you correct to the right, and then a vicious hit. Whenever those cars come off the ground like that, that is a lot of force.
Look at the radiator sliding right in front of the car that came right out of the car in the initial impact.
You see the debris just flying all over the place. We have several angles of this incident.
Now here comes Shelby Howard, the 77 car, Christy Passmore. Everybody's got to run. Look at the debris. It's everywhere.
Here's a second angle of the crash. Boom.
Vicious hit. Very hard hit.
And then he comes right across the traffic. Look at that. Almost got hit again.
Debris just all over the racetrack. And one more view. This is from Frank Kimmel on board his Advanced Auto Parts Ford. And there was some of that debris.
Right.
I'm not sure if that was the radiator. Look at the water that came up on the grill. That was part of his ductwork.
Yeah, you know, and the car was already down the infield. And boy, now this is what we like to see.
This is the best part.
Yeah, he's sore. He knows he's at Pocono, and he knows it.
Well, he thinks he's at.
He thinks he was at Pocono, but he is out, and he's moving, and they're going to help him get to the ambulance, and he is sore.
Now, what did Kenny say on commercial break about it? He says, you know, there's one thing about getting out of the car and being hurt, and there's one thing getting out of the car and know you're hurt.
You want to get out of the car, or you want to get out and not be hurt. The second best thing is getting out and knowing you're hurt. It's just when you're hurt and don't know it is bad.
Well, let's go downside to Don Radebach.
Well, Casey Mears is pit side again. Second stop for him. This one for sure unscheduled. They were working on the left rear tire, working on air pressure. It looked like from this angle. While they were here, they took on some fuel as well. It looked like an air pressure adjustment on the left rear machine or tire on the 77 car.
Well, folks, ARCA is celebrating its 50th anniversary, and you need to get your copy of the ARCA 50 Years of Racing, the new 50th anniversary hardcover book, which features the complete history of ARCA. 300 pages, 600 photos. It's a must-read for any stock car racing fan. Call 1-800-546-8788 and get yours today.
Kenny, you're even in that book.
Yeah, there's a lot of people in that book, because there's been just about everybody in that Winston Cup garage has passed through some of these ARCA races at one time or another. And boy, the early days of ARCA, that was pretty grassroots. That was really a neat book.
And one of the guys that knows a lot about ARCA, Bob Latford, he's a racing pioneer. He died this week. He helped a lot with that book, and he was instrumental in developing NASCAR's point system, which they use today. His funeral will be Wednesday in Concord, North Carolina, and we just want to send our prayers and thoughts out to Bob's family.
Well, I think we're getting ready
to go green.
Ready to go green here.
Hank Wetzel, the flagman's holding him back. Yeah.
Kyle Busch, second, Fittipaldi. Third is Rudeman. There is the green flag, and there goes everybody scurrying again, 3, 4, 5 wide down the front stretch.
You know, we saw two of our key cars, Casey Mears and Frank Kimmel, going in the back. But after running through that debris, you just can't take the chance. You got to come in and put tires on that thing, or that could be you after the race goes green again. So you can come in, you can look over them tires. If they're fine, you can always put them back on.
There is Rudeman right behind the 43 of Fittipaldi, trying to look to the inside of him. And David's first trip around this racetrack was this weekend, and he said heading down into turn number 1 for the first time was, oh my gosh.
That's what you call the pucker factor.
Sphincter factor, right? There goes Rudeman. He moves by Fittipaldi for the second spot. David's one of those talented guys that we're going to see a lot of in the upper echelons of NASCAR, aren't we?
David's been doing a tremendous job in Joe Nemechek's Busch Grand National equipment, and he had a real good test in the Kodak car at Indianapolis. I think they're going to run him up there. So, yes, David's going to be around for a while.
In fact, Morgan McClure team wanted to run him here, but David said, I've never been to Pocono before. I really don't want to try the Cup Series at Pocono for the first time. So he will run Indy, but he is running today in the ARCA REMAX Series. Don?
Yeah, Bob, on the 77 car, I thought they were checking air pressure. Actually, they were making sure those little caps were screwed onto the little air pressure valve, and that's what they were doing on the left rear. I've heard of checking the lug nuts, but I hadn't heard yet of checking the little air pressure valve caps, but that's what they were doing.
Well, the valve caps, they have a little rubber seal in them, and these cars, you actually go so fast, the tires are making so many revolutions per minute that the weight of that little valve core, here we go. Mario Gosselin.
Trouble. He had some engine problems yesterday. The tips broke off 3 of the spark plugs, and some more trouble for that number 12 car.
Well, the weight of the valve stems will actually make it go down into the stem itself, or the valve core into the stem, and it'll make it lose some air. So that's why you can put the cap on there to retain that air.
Gosselin pulls down pit road and pulls behind the wall. Here's a replay of what happened to him.
Yeah, he goes down through the corner, and you can see the engine on the McAfee Mortgage Chevrolet. Yeah, I'm just looking to see if, yep, down coming off a 3. Motor expires coming off a 4 and 3.
Trouble for him because he has not had a lot of success this year. He's been trying to run all sorts of stuff, the Hooters Pro Cup Series, a couple of ARCA races, and some late model stuff around the Southeast region, but he has had a pretty tough year. This guy, though, that's way out in front, the Ditech.com, number 87 for Kyle Busch, no trouble so far. He, just like Casey Mears did yesterday, is dominating, but will he be able to do it for the entire race? We'll see. Tonight on Speed Channel, one of Kenny Schrader's favorite divisions, the USAC Silver Crown Sprint and Midget Series at Pikes Peak tonight, 10 p.m. J.J. Yaley just dominating that series, actually going for the all-time national wins record.
The all-time record is held by 3 people, I think, as Foyt, somebody. Jay Drake, and Sleepy.
Yep, Sleepy.
And it's 19 USAC feature wins in the course of a summer and a season, and JJ is at 18, and it's mid-season, so...
Yeah. He has been dominating, much like that guy dominated here yesterday. Casey Mears in the Target Dodge. He is up to the 11th spot right now, and it's coming pretty hard.
Yeah, he will be coming along with Frank. And, you know, when we get in the later stage of this race, we're going to have about 6 or 7 cars up there that we catch yellow. It's going to get interesting.
Right now, the top 5 is Kyle Busch. David Rudiman in the 2nd spot. Greg Sachs has moved up into 3rd.
From 13th.
Yeah.
And so he's been on a solid move in 15 laps, or 16 now, to gain 10 positions that quick.
And take a look at this onboard camera. You can see something very interesting developing here. A lot of clouds. We didn't see that yesterday. What is that going to do for these cars?
Well, it just make you chase the racetrack.
Yeah, you're right.
Make you chase the racetrack as that clouds cool off the track in that area, and usually you get a little more grip, which might make your car a little better, might make it tend to push a little better. So it just really makes you start chasing the racetrack.
Bill Eversole in the number 08 car. Trouble for him for the 2nd straight day. He was able to rebound yesterday, but not today, guys.
Yeah, he turns around in the access road, on actually in the middle of what was that, between the tunnel turn and turn 3.
And that's the one you really like to say, isn't it? The Think Pink energy drink?
Yeah, exactly. We'll let you take care of that today. But Bill is battling for the Rookie of the Year title with Christy Passmore. Christy had a top 10 run here yesterday, and she moved out ahead just a little bit, but a tough break for Bill.
Heads up on Bill's part, though, to go ahead and get that car off the racing surface safely, where the safety crews can take care of it and not have to go to a yellow flag.
Whoa, Charles Hudson way high in his 2nd career ARCA Series start, and his 2nd career in the 2nd straight day.
Yeah, he had a whole lot of different things flashing through his mind right there. Yeah, been there, done that. I know what he was thinking.
Wow.
Okay, just hang on, baby, hang on.
Erickson blows by him. So does Christy Passmore in that 91 Gap roofing car. Charles Hudson, he's a guy, he told me he's not shifting out here.
Well, you can do it, but it's definitely going to affect your lap times. I mean, a minimum of 1 time is what you need to be shifting, and a lot of guys are doing them 2 times.
Hudson in that Mountain Dew live wire car was running in the top 10. He has dropped to the 13th spot. He finished 14th yesterday. Oh, look Look at this. Joe Cooksey on the inside. You got Boucher there. And Jason Jarrett trying to make his way up through the field.
Yes. Good race here. Jason decides that he'll get back behind there because the inside of the 3 wide maybe didn't look quite as good.
Eric Smith, you see him on the inside there with Billy Venturini in that 25 car.
One of our cameras getting a good look at the front of Billy's car here.
Yeah, Bobby Gerhart blowing another motor.
Another one. Oh, trouble for this team. 3 engines this weekend this team has gone through.
So many times, you know, for whatever reason, when you lose that first one, either you don't get the system clean or there's something in the car that's messing up the engines. It's really hard to...
another one.
Another
Fittipaldi.
Fittipaldi cooks one. Gerhart, then Fittipaldi in the Cheerios Dodge. He was running in the top 5. So some trouble for that Petty team. And of course, Christian Fittipaldi, another one of those guys trying to use the ARCA REMAX Series as an experience deal for the Cup Series.
Most definitely. Christian's, you know, he's got thrown into all these tracks with not that much oval racing background to start with, and then just to get thrown to the Wolves in the Winston Cup Series. He's done a good job, but anytime they can get him some laps like this, it can do nothing but help him.
Christian Fittipaldi.
Yellow is out. Got to be oil in the racetrack.
A winner in the kart series. The yellow is out. 19 laps in the books here at Pocono. This is going to bunch up the field, and it should be pretty interesting when we come back. Pit stop action taking place. You see the Ditech.com number 87 for the leader, Kyle Busch, on pit road. A host of others following him, including David Ruderman in the Kodak number 4. What will they do? 4 tires here?
I would think that we're going to see the front cars go with 4 tires. I mean, we're a fourth of the way through the race. We'll see what Don has for us down there.
Oh, not much. I just got here after a 200-yard haul on pit road, but they do have right side tires on the 87 and the 4 car as well. 4 car out first. They may have changed just 2 tires. I know the 87 went with all 4. I'll check on the 4 here in a moment, but they did beat the 87 out.
Hey, Don, you got to wear some speedy sneakers next time.
Hey, dude, I got my PF Flyers on.
Oh, trouble for Greg Sachs. Car might have fallen off the jack here.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. The jack was dropped down or something. We didn't have the right rear tire on for sure.
Trouble for Greg Sachs. He was running in the top 5, so a slow pit stop for him. He's going to be behind a lot of good cars. Now we'll see if Greg can put the pedal to the metal and come back up front.
Well, he gained 10 spots there in 16 laps, so I'm thinking this won't be the biggest problem. They'll be able to overcome this.
No, you only hope that when the car dropped, it didn't hurt anything on the car.
Greg Sachs
It doesn't look like it did.
in the Florida Fresh Seafood number 88 car.
The car sure looks like a different car, doesn't it?
Yeah, it looks like Dale Jarrett's. Here's what happened on the pit stop. See, they put the jack underneath. A little slow-mo here.
Okay. What we see a lot of times here.
Oh.
Did the tire hit the jack handle?
That's what I was going to say. A lot of times you'll take the tire off and it'll hit the jack handle and let the jack down.
That's what it looked like. Look, when the right rear tire changer pulled the tire off, it hit the jack handle, which released the jack.
He is one of those guys that had to change engines, but before qualifying, that is the view out of the rear of Ken Weaver's car. We'll see what he can do when we come back. A little two-wheel action tomorrow live on Speed Channel. The AMA Super Sport at Mid-Ohio, 12 noon. And then the AMA Superbike live tomorrow, 2:30 on Speed Channel. Should be some awesome action here, and we're expecting some awesome action for the rest of this race. But let's go to pit side with Don.
Hey, thanks for having me. I just wanted to report on the 4 car, David Ruderman, and the 87 of Kyle Busch. Both were on pit road. As you know, the 4 car took a ½ pound of air out of the right rear, track bar down a half round as well. 4 tires. They did take 4 tires and fuel. They were a little loose off, hoping they cured that. The 87 car made an air pressure adjustment. He was a little tight in the tunnel turn. They took 4 tires as well. Worth noting that the 4 car, now this is the full-blown Winston Cup crew that crews the Morgan McClure Kodak car on the other side of the fence on Sunday, as opposed to the 87 car. This is not a Hendrick first A team on the Winston Cup side. This is a test team. These guys, like Kyle Busch, who hopes to be in the Winston Cup Series one day, well, these crew members on the 87 car, they hope to be first classers or first guys on the Winston Cup side as well one day. So this is their test team, and they were beat here by the Morgan McClure team off pit road.
But a very good team. Gary Dehart, of course, he was crew chief with Terry Labonte for so long.
Championship winning
exactly, some experienced guys. All right, guys, we're going green again. Casey Mears did not pit. He is your leader. Christy Passmore second in that gap, roofing number 91. There we go. The green flag is out. And again, guys, 3 and 4 and 5 wide. Mears, just like he did yesterday, just shifted into gear and took off. You see Kyle Busch there in that 87. You see Ruderman trying to follow him in the Kodak number 4 back through the field. Andy Belmont in the Verizon car just ahead of that duo.
Somewhere between the green flag and what we saw there, Kyle had to pass Ruderman. Yeah. Because Ruderman beat him out of the pits.
Right.
So it was pretty quick because we all missed it.
We missed it. Here's Frank Kimmel coming through the field.
Oh, I'll tell you what. On the outside through that tunnel turn, you have a tremendous amount of confidence in your fellow buddy on the inside of there, because that's just not built for too wide.
Takes a lot of experience.
And did you see who it was that he went around? Come on, Kenny, you should know who that is.
I did not catch it.
Henry Benfield.
Battle for second. Passmore on the outside. Here comes Kyle Busch on the inside. Busch has won 2 ARCA races already this year, and he is getting ready to do battle with yesterday's winner.
Well, this is, I think yesterday we mentioned more than a few times that this is what we thought could potentially be happening today. And right now, Casey's thinking that if he just stays far enough ahead, plenty exciting 3-wide action there.
There is Billy Venturini in that Enco number 25 and Joe Cooksey in the 51.
Looks like they got together.
You know, this track with it being so wide, if you get together and you have to back off the throttle at all for whatever reason, by the time you get re-accelerating, cars just go by you on both sides, and you got to take a couple laps to get going again.
We've seen a lot of guys go way to the inside. Do you ever go to the inside and go, uh-oh, shouldn't have done that?
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
Maybe this is one of them.
We'll see what happened. Now we got Billy down the inside. Oh, they get together.
Whoa, again.
Once, twice, but
3 times a baby. I shouldn't say that.
They both had to get off the throttle and enabled the other cars just to go on by.
There is Venturini in that 25 car. He is running 20th right now. Erickson in the 38. There's Brent Sherman in the 44 Hickory Farms car. Things spreading out just a tad right now. Kind of typical middle of the race.
Most definitely. Most definitely. But, you know, those cars that you... I been saying 5 or 6. We've got more than that, really, that when we get them all up to the front, it's going to be pretty exciting. And if you were involved in that last lap, like Billy was, I guarantee it, it's already pretty exciting.
You think he's sweating right now?
Well, you know, after yesterday, he's running 20th right now. He was up to about 15th just before that incident with Cooksey. By the way, Cooksey is down on pit road, but they're looking at something else on Cooksey's car.
And here comes Kimmel. He's moved up to the 6th spot past Mark Gibson, who finished 3rd yesterday. So that was actually the 2nd and 3rd place guys running nose to tail right now here at Pocono Raceway. Out the back of the Advanced Auto Parts Ford for Frank Kimmel and his brother Bill. Andy Belmont just ahead of that duo right there. Andy Belmont running in the 5th spot. You know, I talked to Frank yesterday after the race, and I said, hey, you look pretty good, but just a little bit off trying to catch Casey. He said, well, he says, today's car, actually talking about today, is named Fate, and it's not as good as Mabel. So Frank knew maybe he wouldn't be able to catch those Cup guys today.
Well, I just saw that car come off the corner and wiggle a little. Did you see it, Kay?
Yeah,
Kenny was looking at it too. Oh yeah, and he's wiggling some more right now.
Possible right front rub, we are being told, on Frank Kimmel's car. What does that do to the car?
Well, it's anytime you're rubbing metal on that right front tire that's built out of that thin rubber, it makes big concerns about sudden loss of air. So that's going through his mind big time.
Car is bouncing all over the place here as Frank Kimmel does battle with Andy Belmont. We'll be back in a moment from Pocono. Here at Pocono, and that man right there won yesterday, and he is in the lead again today. The Target Dodge for Casey Mears, a regular, a rookie on the Winston Cup circuit. But you know what? this duo right here, for years to come, they're going to be doing battle in the Winston Cup Series. Casey Mears and second place running Kyle Busch, and Busch is catching them.
Busch is catching them, and you know, they both looking at opportunities ahead of them throughout their career and knowing that they could be racing to each other for a number of years, and that's not even going through their mind right now. They're just worried about today. Kyle is coming, but he's not coming a ton faster, but he's been averaging between about 0.7 of a mile an hour faster last 4 or 5 laps.
What are we? We're only 29, 30 laps into the race of 80. He's not concerned.
You see Casey actually, he goes in low, but he kind of drifts a little bit high, and that's the line he used yesterday. Mark Gibson
and
Andy Belmont. That's
Gibson
right.
got around Andy Belmont for 7.
Belmont had a dynamite run here yesterday, looking for another good run today.
Well, and just right in front of Gibson, we'll have Greg Sachs, who overcome from that last pit stop, which we saw, and put himself back up to 6th spot, or at 5th spot now as we talk.
Well, you know a lot about Greg Sachs. You've run with him a bunch. That guy is not afraid to put it to the floor, is he?
No. Greg was always a very good, aggressive racer. Greg had a big little day here one time at turn 1 at Pocono. A lot of upside down and fire, and it was pretty exciting.
Wait a second, you made it pretty exciting for us here, I think. Yeah, didn't you?
Yeah, it was. I think Greg's was neater.
That's for sure.
Listen to you, neater. I do remember when I raced, and I don't think wrecking was ever neat.
No, when you get out, it's okay.
As long as he remembers where he is, right? Oh,
here we go.
A little rubbing going on. Kyle Busch on the inside of Casey Mears. That's the battle for the lead.
Well, we anticipated this was coming. We just didn't know when.
Wow, he caught him pretty quick from once we last saw him. There goes Casey. Casey's car may be pushing just a tad. Let's see what happened here.
Well, this is down turn 3, right before the pass coming on the front straightaway. Oh, Casey has a good slide there. And how quick you go through the center of that turn 3 to get you on that back straightaway really dictates how fast, how much momentum you carry down that straightaway. With Casey getting loose, having to get off the throttle, that was all Kyle needed to swoop on around.
You know, Kyle Busch was up here yesterday, and he was telling us a little bit about this car. He called it, oh, well, it's one of the old cars in the Hendrick.
Yeah.
But it wasn't that old, was it?
It's, I think what he said, a 98 or something.
No, 2001.
2001.
2001.
Yeah, we were to remind him that's not an old one.
That's not an old one, that's right.
Of course, it's a former Gordon car. Of course, Gordon, multi-time Winston Cup champion. Next week, actually, Kyle Busch going to run by the Brickyard at IRP in the Busch Series.
He's going to run the Busch Grand National race at IRP. We're going to run the Busch Grand National, or the truck race at IRP on Friday night. And what a fun weekend. What a fun weekend.
We'll be watching you in that Federated truck.
Oh, well, we're going to try to have it up there, doing good. I'd like to have a Federated car on this race day. This looked like fun.
Third place, David Ruderman. He is way back, but David learning, gaining a lot of experience out here in that Kodak number 4.
Well, most definitely. Like I said, he was at the Brickyard, tested, ran real good. I think it shows a lot of maturity on his part to tell the Kodak team that, listen, let's let me run the ARCA race up there instead of throwing me in the Cup race and get some laps, because this is a tricky little place to drop into the first time. Kyle took to it very good.
Little place?
Yeah.
2.5 miles for a little place?
Yeah. A little place with long straightaways.
I asked David about his plans for the rest of the year, and he doesn't know a lot right now. He knows he's going to run the Brickyard for the Winston Cup Series and that team, and then he knows he is going to run the Busch Series event at Michigan for Joe Nemechek. Don, what do you have for us?
I wanted to mention the 92 car, Eric Smith, who had a career best finish yesterday, 6th. I didn't know if you guys know this or not, but he is 100% Seneca Iroquois Native American. He calls his nation within a nation. In fact, he was also quick to point out that they are not a defeated nation because they helped the Americans defeat the British in the Revolutionary War. And as a result, they are allies of the U.S. In fact, the Seneca Iroquois Indian tribe, he prefers to be called an Indian, has treaties with the U.S. government. He is the only 100% Seneca Iroquois full-blooded Native American to ever compete in the ARCA REMAX Series. There's your history lesson for the day. If you got 45 seconds, I'll give you the Gettysburg Address. If not, take it.
And he can give you the Gettysburg Address. I know he can.
His hero is Abraham Lincoln.
Yep.
In that ARCA trailer by his desk, he has a picture of Abraham Lincoln.
You got it.
Smith having another pretty good run. He did have a great run out here yesterday, and just in front of him is Shelby Howard in the 64 Mack Trucks car, and Shelby's one of those up-and-comers here that we see so often in the ARCA REMAX series. Jason Jarrett there battling with Mark Gibson, the 91 of Christy Passmore. That is 7th, 8th, and 9th here at Pocono. And Christy having a dynamite run again, an 8th place finish yesterday. But who will win this one? We still have over half to go here at Pocono. Tomorrow on Speed Channel, Speed News NASCAR edition at 7 p.m. We will wrap up the entire Winston Cup race and also have some from the Busch Series race at Pikes Peak. And then at 7:30, Speed News will highlight the ARCA Series and much, much more, the IRL and more. And then after that, John Roberts, Chad Little, and the boys. 8 p.m. on NASCAR Victory Lane.
Speed News is my show. It's just like reading National Speed Sport News. Covers everything. You're up on everything that happened, big tracks and little tracks.
Right now we are on the big track. Kyle Busch is your leader, and he's starting to open up a little gap between he and yesterday's winner, Casey Mears, and you can see him taking that high line.
Yeah, Casey ran. Whoa!
Oh, trouble!
Shelby Howard turned around, and looks like we're going to get out of this pretty clean.
Roof flap is up on that Mack Trucks car.
Yellow flag is out.
Don't know exactly what happened there. Billy Venturini running around the 64 car right there.
He was closing on him. I don't know if he got into him or not, but I noticed Shelby Howard was dropping back. You know, the last lap, Shelby Howard lost 2 spots.
Here's the replay. Howard slowing down just a tad. Venturini into the back of him.
Yeah. Well, you know what we always say on our little Monday night show? We always say, Billy got right up behind him, took the air off the spoiler, then hit him.
Sounds like a good excuse.
Yeah, that's what happened.
Howard, who turned 18 yesterday, here's another look. He was real slow.
He had definitely had problems. You close on someone so quick here. Just barely got in the back of him. That's all it takes there. But fortunately, Shelby stayed out of the outside wall, didn't cross back over the track or nothing. So it's a pretty harmless incident.
Shelby finished 5th here yesterday, and those 2 cars right there battling. We mentioned the top 5 battle in the point standings. Those 2 guys among that battle.
Yeah, I'd noticed that Shelby was slowing down because the 92 car was just getting around him too, and then Billy got by 92 but closed on the 64 really quick.
Howard stops out there and brings out the yellow. We are under yellow once again here at Pocono. But a pretty good race developing. You got the Cup guys, what Don Radebaugh likes to call the ARCA agitators, up front here at Pocono. About to go green here again at Pocono. Greg Sachs is now your leader. He is out front, and he has been stout. Christy Passmore, actually that's A.J. Hendrickson in the 2nd spot. Those cars sort of look alike, but Hendrickson in the 17 car. But there goes Sachs. Shelby Howard has been on pit road. They are trying to restart that car, but are having trouble after he spun out on the racetrack to bring out the caution.
Yeah, well, it looks like, you know, when we saw the replay there, Billy Venturini gained on him so quick through there and nothing happened during the spin that would cause him engine problems. Yeah. So pretty sure that they had an engine problem going into the tunnel turn, and that's why Billy got in the back end of it.
And here's something pretty interesting. You pointed out in the break, David Rudiman, who just moved in to the 2nd spot, he beat Kyle Busch off of pit road again.
Well, you know, that's the A team for the Kodak team, and that's a good
C team.
Yeah, it's a good team, but it'll be one that needs more practice, and they will be fine.
The top 5 right now is Greg Sachs, David Rudiman, Kyle Busch, Casey Mears, and A.J. Hendrickson. 6th is Jason Jarrett. So Jason rebounding after a tough run and engine problems yesterday. There is the 67 car. He has some damage on the right side of that car after that hit with Jimmy Henderson.
But it's not seems to be affecting the car. Actually, with the way the side is flat-sided in the center and pushed out in the back, that's a little downforce on the side.
It could be a little bit better for him.
Not going to fix that, huh?
That's not the way you want to do it, though.
Yeah.
Sachs is really impressing me here. Of course, a Long Island native. I'm from Long Island. I used to watch him run the 18X modified at Islip Speedway, but kind of dodging a little bit on the back stretch trying to break the draft?
Well, yeah, and what he did is he kind of swung to the inside. So David, if he was going to do it, he was going to have to go to the outside because you don't. The inside's preferred groove down in 3. But I think David's going to get her done down this front straightaway, or at least going into turn 1. He's got a push from Kyle Busch there and Casey Mears. 3 of them lined up in this long straightaway. You get quite a bit of draft down there.
And that 88 car is, we were talking, is that a Dale Jarrett car? It's a Dodge, so it can't be.
Yes. Definitely not a next Dale Jarrett car.
And right there, I think you saw the power of the Cup Boys engines out here over a Greg Sachs car.
Yeah, I don't know whose engine Greg has in, but these 3 cars here with all strong Winston Cup ties, you would think they would be 3 of the better engines in the field. Don's down there, who probably maybe have more in that for us.
Oh, well, maybe a little bit more. I did want to point out on the 88 car, I talked to Greg Saxon. He says that is definitely an ex-Robert Yates Dale Jarrett car. All they did was cut off the front nose and the back panels and turn the Ford into a Dodge. Okay. That's what he told me.
I was just going to say, the only way that could be a Dale Jarrett car is they cut off the front nose and the tail. The deck lids are the same, the roofs are the same, the hoods are the same because of this new common template rule we've gone to. And technically, like we built a 2003 Chevrolet, and the deck lid didn't quite fit right. And they said, well, did you put a Dodge deck lid on? And I said, what? And they said, no, you got to run a Dodge deck lid to make it fit all the templates.
And that's why we call him ARCA Don, because he knows all.
He knows all.
Yeah. Well, and we knew the numbers looked the same, so we thought it had to be close. Just the Dodge Ford thing had us messed up a little bit.
How about David Rudiman right now, opening up a little bit of an advantage over Kyle Busch, who's running second?
Yeah, he is. He's actually stretched it out just a little.
Not exactly like they're leaving Casey either. Just closing in on the halfway point of the race. So
36 laps to go now. Rudiman trying to dodge down the front stretch a little bit, but here comes Kyle Busch pulling up on his back bumper. No more gap there, guys.
No.
Maybe a little.
With these turns, so much difference between the 3 turns. A lot of times, one car will be better entering one turn or exiting one turn. The other guy don't have advantage here. Now, Kyle's looking to the outside going into the tunnel, but decides maybe that won't work.
That's not the preferred place to be, is on the outside of the tunnel turn.
2 young guys dueling it out here at Pocono. Kyle, let me tell you something. I watched him in the late models and also in ASA. He is certainly not afraid to go to the outside, as he does right now.
Coming off a 3. Actually, he's got a little more. He's actually keeping the 4 car pinched down coming off the corner.
Yeah.
Man, he must have had to really feather the throttle there coming around that corner to the front stretch.
Well, yeah, and his car really handled good through 3, too. Plus, he was the one that held his breath and drove her in there on the outside. So everything there, that whole combination's working pretty good as we see Frank back up to 5th place right in front of Jason.
Jason taking the hot line. Don, what do you got?
I just wanted to point out something. I don't know if this happens in other series. It very well may, but I know it does here. Yesterday, when Jason Jarrett broke early in the race on lap 7 or something, his crew, one of the best in the ARCA business, went down to Frank Kimmel's crew and changed tires for the 46 car for the rest of the race. Now, that's pretty remarkable when you consider that Jason Jarrett is second in points behind Frank Kimmel. And like I said, I don't know that that goes on anywhere else. It may, but I do know it does happen here.
A family-type atmosphere, certainly here in the ARCA REMAX Series. One of the top series in America as far as competition goes. Jason Jarrett, of course, his dad is Dale Jarrett, and Dale has won here at Pocono. Will Jason be able to get up there and duke it out with the ARCA agitators, the Cup Boys running in this race? We will see. We have a lot more to go here at Pocono. 46 laps in the books. Speed Channel's coverage of the ARCA REMAX Series is brought to you by Gladiator Garage Works, a division of Whirlpool Corporation. Gladiator Garage Works, it's time to rethink the garage. Back here at Pocono, green flag conditions. Kyle Busch, your leader. David Rudiman still in second, and Casey Mears, the Cup trio, up front.
Well, it looked like Kyle decided maybe he needed to put a little room between.
Give me a little breathing room.
Between second and third, and Casey decided that maybe he needs to get back up to second so he can see.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe
Right.
David got a little bit of dirt experience rubbed off from his dad there, because he certainly got sideways coming off the corner.
Yes, he did. He did a good job of keeping it gathered up and not losing much forward momentum.
I was just going to say, gathering it up is one thing, but then to keep your composure and keep driving the car and act like, okay, nothing happened. I'm still shooting.
He is a wheel man.
Oh, yes, he is.
Casey, wow, that was a good job by Casey too, not getting into the back of him too.
Right. And these kids, you know, they're just young. They got experience, and they got plenty of talent. You know, they're getting more. They got experience at different levels. They're getting it at these levels, but they've got a lot of talent. A lot of these kids.
One thing I've said about these young kids in racing today is the reason they're so quick is because they haven't hit hard enough yet. Ken, you kind of know what I mean.
Yeah, but you can. Oh my gosh, we got a few problems all over the place.
Eric Smith maybe blowing up an engine. Brian Conch, you just saw him in the 6 car.
88 cars down pit
well.
road too.
Oh boy, we have stuff going on all over the racetrack right now. There you see Greg Sachs on pit road. He doesn't make the turn. He's going to his pit stall.
This
it
is
appears
not
to be going slower than pit road speed.
That's definitely slower than pit road speed. It looks like the motor's turning.
Yellow is out. We have a yellow on the race surface.
Something going on the race surface. Let's take a look from Ken Weaver's car.
Well, there you can see that. I think that's the 92 car blowing a motor right there.
Okay, we can see from our camera though that very little fluid, very little on a racetrack from the onboard camera. So that's a good thing.
And Eric did a good job of getting down to the bottom of the racetrack right away.
The hood is up on Greg's car though.
Yeah, well, you call it, Ken. He was coming down pit road. I don't think the car was running when it come down pit road.
And there is Eric Smith. Don told us all about him a little while ago. The 92 car, smoke billowing out of the front end of that machine. Brian Conch, he is still slow on the racetrack, but the 92, there goes the hood up.
Yep,
oh,
88's getting pushed back behind the wall.
That's got to be disappointing. I mean, Greg Sachs comes here. He hasn't run too much at all. Comes here running really, really well, looking for a good run, and boom, something happens.
Yeah, Greg was, you know, he was kind of like hovering there right ahead of the ARCA regulars and behind the Winston Cup guys. So that was a strong run for Greg and that team.
So what do we call him, an in-betweener?
A tweener? Tweener.
Tough run for that team, the Florida Fresh Seafood number 88 for Greg Sachs. He had been running in the top 5 and top 10 all day long after starting 13th.
You know who's crew chief in that car?
No, I don't.
Bobby Jones. Remember Bobby Jones?
Oh, yeah.
Everybody knows who Bobby Jones is. It's been around a long time.
There's the 92 of Smith. They got it up on the jack.
Yeah, they got it up on the jack. Well, maybe you can blow him over. Maybe a line came loose or something.
A lot of times we've seen happen now is everybody runs the cars so low and so soft that some of the lines that were tied up that you always thought were out of harm's way before, you've dragged holes in them. And you know.
Well, speaking of running the car so low and dragging them, that's what happened to Billy's car yesterday. We dragged a hole in the frame. Had to raise the car up a little for today's race.
Ken Weaver still out on the racetrack. We'll be back in a moment. The Champ Car World Series tomorrow, 9 p.m. on Speed Channel from Vancouver. That should be a dynamite race. So tomorrow, 9 p.m. on Speed, the Champ Car World Series.
Okay, now we're at commercial break. Who pulls back down pit road? The 87 car, Kyle Busch, is back down pit road again. Don't know why. He's coming out right now.
There he is right there. Interesting. We'll have Don find out what went on there. But first, Greg Sachs out of the event. And Don, what can you tell us there?
Well, we're going to let Greg Sachs tell us. First of all, it's great to see you back in a race car. I know you still have a lot of fans out there. Had a rocket for a while. What happened?
Well, we did have a rocket. I tell you what, Bobby Jones did a perfect job in my Dodge. It was absolutely neutral. I couldn't ask for any more. Mike Agee, the power was awesome. I mean, we had old tires on, and we were running the leaders back down. We were right in our pit strategy. We didn't stop with the leaders because it didn't open up our pit window. We would have had to stop one more time. So the race was playing right into our hand. We had exactly what we wanted. And it just disappointing for our sponsors. You know, Brown and Luke Construction, State of Florida with Seafood, and Dave Turner. Those guys made it happen. They got us here, and we appreciate that. And we'll be back again.
See you on the Springfield Dirt Mile?
I love Jared, but I don't know if I can get Bobby to go for that.
Hey, Don, ask him what happened. He didn't tell us what happened.
We forgot to get to the goodies. Did you break the motor?
No, we did not. We broke the transmission. We had...
Did that have anything to do with when you dropped the car on pit road from the jack, when it dropped off the jack?
No, not at all. It gave me no warning. There was no vibrations. And going from third into overdrive down to backstretch, bang, and it was all done.
Greg Sachs for president. Quite a politician.
Well, we've
Brent Sherman's the leader right now.
Brent Sherman, the former Air Force pilot, in the lead here at Pocono now. He had a good run going yesterday until some problems late in the race under the hood of that car. Frank Kimmel right there, too, the four-time ARCA REMAX Series champion. Ken Weaver in the 96, also carrying one of our onboard cameras today. He is also right in the mix, running in the top 3. See the 51 of Joe Cooksey right there. Weaver in the 96. That's a look from his car.
Around the outside, going through the tunnel turn right there. They are 2 and 3 wide going through the tunnel turn.
Yes, they are.
The battle for the lead, though. Kimmel on the inside of Sherman. Makes it look easy.
Yes, he does, but he knows that he needs to waste
No time.
no time. Because last time by, the 77 was in 8th.
And he's in 3rd.
He's in 3rd now. And the 87 is going to go by in 10th place. Jason Jarrett 7th. Mark Gibson 6th. He knows he needs to be getting while the getting's good.
There is Kyle Busch trying to work his way through the field after that extra pit stop. He goes by Ron Cox in the 23 car.
You know, it's so nice to have a car handle a lot down the straightaway like that. Oh my gosh, huh, Kenny?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
you can handle down that straightaway. It's very helpful.
Is that called power?
Yeah.
Power.
There is Casey Mears in the 77 and the Kodak 4 of David Rudiman, 2nd and 3rd on the racetrack. There's the interval, guys. Frank Kimmel's going, come on, car, go, 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 because I know these guys are coming.
Well, it's a matter of time before they chase him down right now.
26 laps here is a long time. We're not talking Bristol or something. There's Kyle fanning out and somebody deciding to run him.
Oh, they hit him. Oh. Ron Cox, Kyle Busch get into it on the front stretch right in front of a bunch of cars. Oh, that's Tom Erickson that hit the wall in the first turn in that green and white 38 car. That just didn't look natural, guys.
Man, bad break for everybody. Look at it. Erickson, Kyle Busch, Ron Cox. That's the problem when you have a fast car coming through the field like that.
Major damage to Erickson's car, and he was an innocent bystander of that all.
Yes, he was.
He had a good run here yesterday, a good run at Lake Erie a couple weeks ago. Tom Erickson in that Chevrolet. Lots of damage to that car with all the green flames on it. And here's what happened.
Okay, we see Kyle Busch starting to make a run to the inside. Ron Cox goes down to block.
I don't, you know.
You know, it looked different the first time from the front. And before I say too much, I'd really want to get maybe another look at that. Here we see Kyle cut to
Now,
the
Ron
inside.
Cox definitely runs him down to the bottom.
Did Kyle get mad there?
No, I don't know.
Well, bottom line, what we know for sure is better judgment should have been used by both of them.
Good way to explain it.
Exactly.
Better
When they hit the
judgment.
first time, they should have been.
Yeah.
They should have just pulled away from each other, and it looks like they got mad at almost like they got mad at each other or got back in each other.
You're running 200 mile an hour right at the end of the straightaway. You're probably running 165 here.
Erickson spun by trying to avoid it.
It's just not the place to be car wrestling. You just can't do it. Okay, now we see the 87 comes
He's coming up. He's
here.
coming up.
He
Definitely comes up and hits him.
And then they're both under control here again.
And he comes back up again and
He
hits him
comes
again.
back up.
Wow. That could have been a lot worse, too.
With 20-something laps, Kyle doesn't have to be that aggressive yet. And Ron could maybe give him some more room, knowing that it's coming.
When he came down the middle of the front straightaway, yeah, Ron shouldn't have come down on him again because he knew he was faster. Should have gave him more room there. Billy Venturini just gets through that too.
And a tough break for Ron Cox, who was 7th in points. Man, that 23 car with a lot of damage on it. As you can see, the crew trying to pull out the fenders and go to work and maybe get him back out on the racetrack. But who knows? A big one here takes out one of the contenders, Kyle Busch. Is he done? We'll see when we come back. Hey everybody, welcome back to Pocono here for the ARCA Remax Series. I'm Bob Dillner alongside of Kenny Schrader and Bill Venturini. Don Radebach is on pit road for us. And guys, it's time now to anoint the gladiator pit of the race. And I tell you, one team has been head and shoulders above the race on pit road, and that's the Morgan McClure crew, the Kodak number 4 for David Rudiman.
They've won the race off pit road 3 times, and I think they deserve it for sure.
The gladiator pit of the race for David Rudiman and that Kodak team. Congratulations, guys. And right now, David Rudiman also still in the hunt here. He is in 3rd. Some misfortune for Kyle Busch, who was, I think, both of your gentlemen's pick before the race, wasn't he?
Yes, he was.
I have to agree. Me and Kenny both picked him, but not today. I think it's going to be, well, it's going to be between, I think, Casey Mears or Kimmel and Rudiman.
Hey, I didn't pick actually early in the race. Can I just pick now?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, go ahead, pick.
Casey Mears.
No.
Casey Mears, of course, going for the big giant prize here. He won yesterday, so if he wins today, Giant Food Stores will award him with a $12,500 check, and they will also give the same amount to charity, and that's pretty cool.
Giant Foods.
Yep.
They're from around here, right?
Yes, they are. They're big. They're big. Frank Kimmel is your leader right now, though, so Casey Mears still has to get around old Frank Kimmel, who was a 4-time champ in the ARCA Series. He's won a bunch already this year. In fact, he won at Lake Erie a couple weeks ago, right, Bill?
Thanks. Thanks, Mr. Dillner. Go ahead.
Sorry, buddy. Of course, Billy Venturini, an up-and-comer in this sport, finished 2nd backwards after the brakes locked up on him coming off the final corner at Lake Erie. But here we go. The green flag about to fly once again. Frank Kimmel, your leader. Casey Mears 2nd. David Rudiman 3rd. Brett Sherman in that Hickory Farms car 4th. And Mark Gibson, who finished 3rd yesterday, rounds out the top 5. Here we go.
Casey looking inside of Frank, going into 1.
Kimmel takes the high line, unlike he did yesterday. Casey Mears took that high line all day yesterday. Maybe Frank learned something by following Casey yesterday.
Well, this is going to be a good race, and David got off to a little bit slower restart, but I'm thinking that he's going to be caught right back up here in just a couple laps.
Casey Mears 2nd right now, won yesterday in the ARCA race. Will start 10th in tomorrow's Winston Cup race, so a pretty good weekend for Casey Mears. Don?
With Kyle Busch, who probably had the car to beat today, although it will not be. What happened?
Oh, I don't know. Just, might as well not even talk about that. We had a great run going. I just want to thank Hendrick Motorsports for the opportunity they gave me. Rick, I know you're watching. We're all right. Everything's good here. Ditech.com as well. 1-800-DITECH1. Great sponsors to be involved with, and whole organization standing behind me, and I know it right now. So, I don't know. You just might have to interview Ron Cox after this one's over. But, yeah, a terrible shame. Shame.
How valuable has this series been to the learning curve? I know you're headed towards NASCAR. Are you getting valuable seat time here?
Oh, we definitely are. We'd like to finish the 80 laps that we have here today. It's a 200-miler instead of 500, in the Cup Series. But we know someday we'll be back here in Winston Cup, and, it'll be a great showing then.
I think Kyle Busch handled that very well. We'll see him back in the ARCA Remax Series in Talladega and Charlotte.
And Casey Mears just handled that move by Frank Kimmel very well. He is in the lead, and David Rudiman, well, he's in 2nd now.
Yeah, that was a big drop that lap for Frank. But I think the rest of the cars, I don't think really have much of a chance of running Frank down the way it goes right now. And David's hanging right there with Casey, so it's a long way from being over.
Should be pretty interesting. Casey Mears had some laps on this racetrack from a test here and also in the Cup race in June. David Rudiman this weekend, his first time at Pocono. He was supposed to test here, did not get to. So Rudiman doing a dynamite job for not ever being at this racetrack before.
I heard Casey Mears was testing there for quite a long time. But it showed. I mean, he came here, tested. He's run the 2 ARCA races. Where did he qualify for the Cup race? 10th. I mean, it's definitely showing that the kid's getting his experience.
Well, and they come to someone like Casey comes to the Cup race. I mean, he's been here, one time before, and he's up against guys that have been here 20 and 30 times or more, or even a couple of the younger guys here that's just been here a couple of years. They've been here 4 full times, got to run 4 races. You just don't catch that up in one visit.
And the battle for 4th. Mark Gibson finished 3rd yesterday. Brent Sherman, and also Jason Jarrett right there in the Gladiator Garage Works number 67. Gibson's got the spot, but here comes Sherman back on the inside. Can he do it? Maybe not.
Now, Mark's got the preferred line coming off the corner. And this is, Mark Gibson switched motors from yesterday till today. He had to put another DEI motor in. You can see as they go down the long pond, Jason Jarrett gets underneath Brent.
Jason Jarrett, another one of those guys that had to change engines because he blew one up here yesterday.
Yeah, but see, he didn't have to go to the back of the pack because he had already pulled motors off before last race, so before yesterday's race. He had a scheduled engine change.
And let's not forget, Jason finished 2nd in both Pocono races here last year, so he certainly likes this racetrack. In fact, I spoke to him. He said, a lot of people don't like Pocono because it's kind of weird. 3 turns are different and so forth. I just kind of taken a liking to this racetrack. His dad, he said, has helped him out a lot here as well.
Yeah, it was his daddy and grandpa can help you a whole lot of places. Both having Winston Cup championships on their resume. That's quite valuable people to go to.
Jason Jarrett is running 5th right now. He is 2nd in points in the ARCA Remax series, and it's good to see him having a good run after that misfortune yesterday.
And I noticed that Shelby Howard got his car fixed, so it had to be electrical. It couldn't have been a camshaft or something, so it had to be something electrical that broke in the car.
Look at that gap right now. Casey Mears has opened it up, and we're going to come to the line here and take a look at this, guys. We're going to see the speed that they are running at the line on the left-hand side of the screen. Check this out. Average speed 163 miles an hour, almost 164 for Casey Mears.
Yeah, we see over a mile-an-hour difference, that last lap. Now, he's pulling away a little bit. A mile-an-hour lap is a big deficit to overcome, so
yeah,
it's going to make it hard for David unless he's got a little something left there. 14 laps to go. Good, clean racetrack, though. If he's got something left, now would be a good time to use it.
We will see if he does have anything left with just over 10 laps to go. Cloudy skies over Pocono for the first time this weekend. It has been beautiful here all weekend long, much unlike the way it was here in June when the ARCA Series actually rained out its race, and that's why we have a doubleheader. Casey Mears won yesterday, going for 2 in a row.
Yes, that boy, young man, can learn a lot this weekend here. So nice to have 2 nice days here at Pocono. We always struggle with the weather, being June or July up here.
Oh man, I don't care what time we come here. You can guarantee if you go to Pocono, first of all, you're going to have fog. You come. I think what
you're going to see a few deer.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely deer. And somebody will run over an animal in practice.
Yeah. And you're going to get wet sometime during the weekend.
I don't think that happened yet.
Yes. In practice, in first practice on Thursday, a squirrel got caught in this. went through somebody's front end in practice.
All right, how about a moment of silence for the squirrel?
Now, have you ever seen the deers run across?
That wasn't a moment of silence.
Yeah, it was close enough.
It was a little animal.
There is Casey Mears, David Rudeman in the 4-car in 2nd.
Casey is definitely starting to stretch it out right now.
Pocono is a pretty unique racetrack. We spoke about this a bunch yesterday, Schrader. I mean, I remember the first time I came here, sat in the grandstands and looked at the big old track and went, wow.
Yeah, it's just so unique to anything that we have in the Winston Cup Series, or even any tracks throughout the country. Even if the Cup doesn't go there, we have no tracks that have 3 distinctly different turns and those long straightaways that this facility has. It just makes it's a little tricky to get used to. Takes a while.
Christy Passmore right there going another lap down. She was in the top 10 earlier.
Yeah.
But had some problems. Saw her on pit road good with the hood up, so don't know exactly what went on there. But Christy Passmore with an 8th yesterday. A tough break for her here today, running one of those Bob Schacht cars. Actually, that car nicknamed Stretch.
Yeah, she was doing a real good job today. Did a good solid run yesterday. Been quite impressed watching her.
Christy battling for Rookie of the Year honors. You see David Rudeman now work his way around her. 11 laps to go out of the 80 here at Pocono.
We saw Shelby Howard come back out a couple minutes ago, and that was after being in the garage for a while. So Mr. Bill tells me, which I have to agree, that that was more than likely some type of an electrical problem, because mechanical problems that would do that, maybe a timing belt or a camshaft or something,
you couldn't fix it.
You wouldn't have got it fixed.
Right, you couldn't have fixed it.
5th and 6th, Brent Sherman has moved back around Jason Jarrett. Jason has moved back to the 6th spot, so a pretty good run for Brent Sherman, who was 13th yesterday. His crew chief, Lee Leslie, and of course the Leslie family, a lot of history in this series.
Well, you know, nepotism, which is, you know, it definitely in this business, you know that, you know, family members. You've got crew chiefs, you got drivers, you got car owners, all family people.
You should have taken a look at the look on Schrader's face here. He's going, I don't know where he's going with that one. Jason Jarrett there in that purple People Eater car.
That's because I confuse him when I use that word. That's all.
Yeah. I confuse easy.
I doubt that. Schrader's pretty sharp. So is Jason Jarrett. So is the guy in front of him, Brent Sherman. Jason Jarrett, one of those guys that went to the Busch Series, learned a bunch, but maybe struggled up and down a little bit, and has come to the ARCA Remax Series and really learned a lot more. We have a little bit of trouble in turn number 1. There's Ron Cox again.
Yeah, I think if we wanted to get in a replay of this, it shows that he had a little bit of problem going down the straightaway.
Ron, this is the 2nd race for the Shaver Racing engine.
I'd say he's got 23. A flat left rear tire is what the problem was.
Having trouble getting out of that grass there. You don't want to get stuck down there and take a look.
That's tire debris there.
Yes, that is. A bunch of rubber on the racetrack.
You know, once you crash those cars, they're hardly ever drive as good as they did the first time.
Yellow flag is out. 9 laps to go here. And here is what happened to Ron Cox. Yeah, it looks like it's
tires coming apart right there.
Yep. He's trying to hold on for all he can right now, and just takes it down to the grass and tries to get the car halted up. Not much you can do there.
Not a whole lot.
Ron Cox, the 2nd incident he is involved in today. Tough break for the 7th place point man. There is Ken Weaver, and he is running just outside the top 10. On Speed Channel tomorrow, Dream Car Garage at 10 a.m., followed by one of my favorite shows, My Classic Car at 10:30 a.m. What? That's a cool show.
I know it is. I know it is. When we come back next time for Green Flag, 5 laps to go. And this is what we talked about yesterday. Right now, Casey's worried about anything that could possibly go wrong. Did he pick up a flat or anything like that?
There was some debris on the racetrack.
Yeah.
You never know.
Working it back and forth, trying to make sure they're cleaned off.
You can see David had his hand out the window there trying to catch a little fresh air because it gets pretty hot inside those race cars.
You think so?
I haven't run one of these cars. You have. You tell me.
It gets real hot.
It gets real
hot. Just like this book.
That's right. Get your copy of ARCA 50 Years of Racing. The new 50th anniversary hardcover book features the complete history of ARCA. 300 pages, 600 photos, and we all love photos. It's a must read for any stock car racing fan. Don?
Just wanted to mention the 21 car having a real good run today, and we didn't get to him yesterday and wanted to mention him today. Of course, Todd Bowser, 2nd generation driver. His father Jack, a 3-time champion here back in 63, 64, and 65. Todd Bowser steered the GFS Marketplace Ford to a 9th place finish yesterday, all the way from 32nd, and doing pretty darn good here this afternoon.
8th in the point chase is the number 21 team there.
Very historic number in the ARCA Remax series. A lot of victories.
First time I raced against that number 21, and you'll remember this, Kenny, because we both raced in the USAC stock car division.
Oh, yeah.
At Milwaukee at the fairgrounds in the late 70s.
Well, way before I was racing, I remember Jack showing up with the car for AJ Foyt and running DuCoin in Springfield. Those were the cars you had to beat, AJ and Jack.
Yep. You're going to run DuCoin this year, right?
Oh, I'll tell you what, DuCoin, Illinois, Labor Day, ARCA Remax Series there, always a good race. And I know 2 more Winston Cup. There's 2 hero guys in that garage that are going to be making that race also.
Tony Stewart's going to be there running the car.
Rumor has it, and then there's another one that hasn't been in the ARCA Remax Series yet that's going to be out there. Who's got a championship under his belt?
Bill Elliott?
Bobby Labonte?
Oh, here we go. Green flag. 3 laps to go. Lap 77 in the books. Here we go. This is what it's all about. Another dash for the cash here at Pocono, and you can see the onboard from Frank Kimmel getting way low, bumping up and down in that car, trying to get underneath David Rudiman.
Yeah, now Casey got that restart that he wanted. I don't foresee this front 3 changing much, but we'll just have to see what happens here.
We want to mention Mark Gibson in the 4th spot, and Brent Sherman still hanging strong in 5th. Billy Venturini in 8th, and A.J. Henriksen. Another good run for him. He's in the 7th spot, but nobody, I don't think, is going to touch that 77 car.
Well, when we come around this time, he's only got to worry about 7.5 more miles.
Mark Gibson in the green and white car with the DEI power plant underneath the hood. But this guy, Casey Mears, of course, the Mears family, very famous in open wheel racing. Casey himself, I was there when the first time he ran a champ car at the California Speedway. He finished in the top 5. He's another one of those wheelmen. He certainly likes to put the pedal to the floor.
Yes, he does. And I
think
really,
Rudiman's closed up on him.
Rudiman has closed up that lap. It's good to see Casey in the ARCA and the Winston Cup Series. Really didn't think we were going to have a chance to get him after his debut in the kart series there at Fontana, where he run 5th. I thought he'd wind up there, but kind of decided he wanted to go this way. Right now, he's seeing a whole lot more yellow in his mirror than he wants to.
That's right. Right. Mears maybe looks a little bit loose coming off the corner.
I noticed at the last lap, just a little twitch on the back of his car. Rudiman's been able to kind of just keep it a little lower.
Well, we saw Casey get loose before when Kyle Busch got right up underneath him. Now, David Rudiman is going to do everything he can to get the nose of his car up underneath Casey, try to get that car loose.
Oh, look, David Rudiman gets a little bit loose coming off of that corner there as he tries to sneak in behind the 77 car. Just 2 laps to go, and this is pretty cool, guys. 2 up-and-comers in the realm of racing, duking it out here at Pocono in the ARCA Remax Series. He's closed the gap a little bit, but he's having trouble just reaching him, I think, down the
Well, you know, that could be that dreaded aero push. He gets underneath him, and it looks like the car just pushes just a little.
And it could be that dreaded horsepower of that, that target car down the straightaway.
That's what I was alluding to there.
Okay, you're right, Kenny, because here it is.
White flag.
One more trip around this 2.5-mile circuit. Casey Mears is your leader. David Rudiman trying to hunt him down. Frank Kimmel 3rd. Mark Gibson 4th. Brent Sherman right behind that 59 car in 5th. Jason Jarrett in 6th. Okay, is he hearing a bunch of stuff, or is he just looking in his rear view mirror right now?
I don't think he's doing either.
He's looking forward, knowing that he's got 4 car lengths, and that's all he needs as long as he hits his marks. And David is on a mission. This is his last shot. He's got to get in there, try to get up underneath him, get him to wiggle.
Can he do it? Trying to close in right now. Rudiman pulling up to the back bumper of the Target Dodge. Don't think he's going to do it, guys. Casey Mears wins the double here at Pocono. David Rudiman is second. Frank Kimmel, third, extends his point lead.
I would have to say that Casey and David should both be very proud of their runs. And then, like the next 4 or 5, all ARCA regulars that were right there, lead lap, same straightaway at the end of this deal, have to be proud also. It was a good run.
Third, actually from third all the way down to 12th, they're all ARCA regulars.
A big thumbs up for Casey Mears, who wins the Giant Double. That extra $12,500 from Giant Food Stores goes to Casey Mears and that Chip Ganassi-owned team.
You know, he's got to be feeling better when he climbs in his car tomorrow, starting off 10th position, knowing that out of his 900 miles, he's already won 400 of them.
That's right, exactly. Now, can he take anything from this race, and except for driving experience, and apply it to tomorrow?
No, they definitely,
yes.
definitely can. With the ARCA cars and the Winston Cup cars, they're so close to the same. Difference in the tires, but they're so close to the same that they can use all this information.
That's what this program's about. This program is about. Let him get here and let's learn as a team what we have to do to make him a better driver.
What is he going to do here, guys?
Oh, he's going to do a burnout.
I'd say he's going to play a little bit. Now, yesterday he had to use this car again.
There goes the smoke billowing out of the back end of that car as he does a little John Force impersonation here on the front stretch at Pocono. Wow, that's pretty good. How would you rate that?
I'd say he's made tremendous improvements since, was it Michigan?
Michigan, that's right.
Because we got to earn him a little bit of Michigan and say, hey, awesome race, burnout kind of wasn't very good, but he's done a lot better.
He's been practicing back by the shop.
Yes, he has.
Casey Mears wins his third ARCA race of the year, 2 in a row this weekend at Pocono. He's done with the burnout, and he is heading to victory lane, where our Don Radebaugh will meet him in just a moment. Casey will be celebrating here at Pocono when we come back. Casey Mears is in victory lane here at Pocono, 2 in a row for that dude right there, and he is one happy fellow as he puts on the ARCA Remax Series hat and the Hoosier neckband in victory lane, and I think we're going to head down to victory lane right now.
As Casey Mears, one of the happiest guys, and probably the happiest guy in Long Pond, Pennsylvania, climbs out. Incredible story. Casey Mears, back-to-back ARCA Remax Series victories. How do you feel?
Awesome. I mean, that one is definitely tough. I mean, with Kyle Busch and those guys running, too bad they fell out early. But the 4 car with Rudiman was running really good, and it was definitely a good win today. I mean, we had to drive hard the whole time, and a lot of fun. I just want to thank Target, Chip Ganassi Racing, all the guys involved with this ARCA program. It's our last race for the year in ARCA. I just want to thank ARCA Remax and everybody involved. It's just been a lot of fun. I've learned a lot, and hopefully we can make it another one on Sunday.
Tell me about the 4 car. You had a pretty good lead over him at one time, and he closed up pretty good at the tail end there. Were you pretty concerned?
Well, I mean, definitely. I had to drive as hard as I could. I mean, the tires cool off. These Hoosier tires cool off, and they usually come back to where they're pretty good, you know, after they get a chance to cool down. So, I mean, he was good there for a few laps, but I think once the tires started to get a little heat in him, we ended up getting a little bit better. But, I mean, he ran good all the way to the end, and it was a good race. A lot of fun.
400 miles under your belt already, 2 victories, another 500-miler tomorrow Winston Cup style. How does this help you in terms of confidence?
I think it's going to help a lot, you know, and I learned a lot of different lines throughout the track, and I just tried a lot of different stuff that may help me for tomorrow. So anyway, just a real good day, and just happy. Just want to thank everybody involved, Chip Ganassi, Felix Zabatis, all the guys at Target Chip Ganassi Racing. I mean, they really worked hard. This increased their workload. We didn't add any more guys, but it increased the workload there at the shop. They got everything done, and it ended up a good day for us.
Well, I think Casey Mears got the job done as well. 6 career ARCA Remax Series starts, 3 victories. Those are pretty good numbers.
That's batting 500. Congratulations to Trevor, the entire Target Dodge team, and Jimmy Elledge. Can't forget about him because he does a dynamite job kind of organizing that whole deal.
Oh, Jimmy's, his crew chief over in the Cup side, and like I said, big extra workload to run these races.
And, of course, a lot of good runs for some of the ARCA regulars. As you pointed out just a little while ago, Frank Kimmel in 3rd. He still has not finished outside the top 5 all year long. That's amazing. Cool.
That's amazing.
Ken Weaver, he had one of our onboard cameras. He finished 9th, and Andy Belmont, his 2nd straight top 5 run for the Verizon driver. A.J. Hendrickson, a lot better today, and Jason Jarrett rebounded as well. He finished 6th. Brent Sherman Charles Hudson in 11th there, and not bad for a guy. I mean, he had 2 top 15 finishes in his first 2 ARCA races here this weekend.
That'd be real good. 13th for Henry Benfield.
And that's one of your buddies.
Oh, yes.
Brad Smith.
Joe Cooksey out of Centralia, Illinois, finished 18th.
Ron Cox had all that trouble, but still managed a 21st place finish. And Shelby Howard
got back, finished 23rd. That's good for him in the points race because he was like down to 29th when he dropped out, so he gained 6 spots.
Good, but still a tough blow for that top 5-point guy. Bill Eversole, one of the Rookie of the Year contenders. He finished 33rd. Mario Gosselin, man, he had a tough weekend. Engine problems yesterday and today. 36. Bobby Boucher there in the 55 car. And Darrell Basham, one of the Bash boys here this weekend. His son ran the race yesterday. He finishes in the 38th spot. Rounding out the field, one of the nicest guys in the ARCA Remax Series. I tell you, Jerry Middleton, had the pleasure of talking to him in the garage area a bunch, and he wanted me to get on you for calling him an old guy. He said, you're older than him.
Oh, yeah, but come on, Jerry's an old guy. I'm used to, anyone over 40 is an old guy now, But I won't say how old I am. Yeah,
I was just going to ask you.
I'm 50.
50, the big 50.
Yeah, and I do want to say, I want to thank my wife for putting up with me for 30 years. It was our anniversary this week, and I've been married 30 years.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, someone be married to him for 30 years is pretty impressive.
That's what I said.
I set you up pretty good there, didn't I? We still got a lot more to go on this broadcast. When we come back, we'll talk to Frank Kimmel, David Rudiman, and the boys. Sorry. We are back here at Pocono International Raceway. Speed Channel's coverage of the ARCA Remax Series is brought to you by Remax, outstanding agents, outstanding results, and by Gladiator Garage Works. Gladiator Garage Works, official garage of ARCA, is proud to announce that the gladiator of the race is Darrell Basham. Gladiator Garage Works, it's time to rethink the garage. Darrell, of course, went out early, but he had a tough break yesterday. Crashed his car, went to a backup, and still made it out there. Don?
With David Rudiman, who I'm thinking is a very happy David Rudiman, runner-up finish in your career first ARCA Remax Series start. What'd you learn today?
I made a lot of mistakes, but the guys with the Kodak Perfect Touch Pontiac, they kept working on it. I blew our restart there one time and let Casey drive by us on the outside, and I pretty much decided to race there. But all the guys at Morgan McClure Motorsports did a great job. They worked hard. They gave us a good car at the end. Car got a little tight when I could get right in behind Casey, and it shoved the nose on the last lap. But all in all, I think it was a pretty good day.
Let's look quickly at your future. I understand you're going to make a Winston Cup attempt at the Brickyard?
Yeah, we're going to go next week. We needed NASCAR wanted us to run the ARCA Remax Series here today, and to get some experience. And it's a great series, and I had a lot of fun. I hope I get a chance to come back. But we're going to go to Indy next week and attempt to make show. It's big for me, really big.
Well, if he was in a test, I think he passed it today. Let's move right on over to Frank Kimmel, if we can here. Third place finish here today, Frank. Considering all the Winston Cup talent in the field, I say that's pretty darn stout. How do you see it?
See all that dust? I think it's from those young kids out in front of us all day.
We'll lay more of that on when we go to DeCoin, but for now, tell me about your day.
It was a great day. The Advanced Auto Parts car ran really good. We helped it a bunch from Happy Hour, and actually this car didn't even turn a lap in Happy Hour. We had a little motor problem, so we changed motors. So that was the first laps on it, and so we was real happy with it. Just best in class, I guess, today. And I got to say hi to my mom and my dad. My son's up racing at Lake Erie with my wife, and we got a busy weekend. We're flying up there to watch him run his mini cup.
Wow, that's great. Awesome. It's all in the family, I guess. Part of the ARCA family is Mark Gibson, who's been chasing this thing since 1982. Another top 5 finish, back-to-back 4th today. Congratulations. How are you feeling?
Pretty good. With the, like I say, with the Cup talent that's here, and second class. I think we're the gearing we can't get that right. When we pulled a lower gear today, it was a little too much gear yesterday. We didn't have enough, so maybe the motor difference. But at times we're as good as Frank on the clock, so we'll take it. Top 5. That's what we've been shooting for since Atlanta. Is more top 5s. Good points day for us. So we just get ready to go to Nashville and then head for DeCoin and Springfield and those dirt shows.
I'm looking forward to that. They may have the gear wrong, but they had the driver right. Back to you.
Good run for Mark Gibson. Guys, final thoughts, Bill?
Going home from a tough weekend. Let me tell you, these ARCA guys had to put up for 2 races, 400 miles, and a long, long, hard weekend. I got to tell you, I'm sure everyone in the garage area is, we're glad to race, but we're also going to be glad to go home.
And it showed how tough these guys are doing the double here, Kenny.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like I said, less than 24 hours to get those cars ready to do the same thing over again. They had the equipment they needed. They got the cars back out there. We saw very little bit of stuff tore up. That just how much this series has grown over the years. Now, this was a big deal.
The ARCA REMAX Series next heads to Nashville. For Bob Dillner, Kenny Schrader alongside of me, also Bill Venturini and Don Radebaugh on pit road. It's been very enjoyable here at Pocono. We'll see you next time here on Speed.